2 votes.
2 votes.
A plank to walk across from one foot to another.
Welcome to the DL Gaming Podcast.
And this is where we're going to begin our auction for cheese made in Baldur's Gate. It is made from the fungus of Asterian's feet. We're going to start the bidding at 300 gold. 300 gold, 300 gold. Do I see 325, 325?
300, 325.
300 for 325 for Christian. 400 from Emilio. 400 do I hear? 450, 450, Bobby, 450, 450, 450. 450 from Christian. 450 to Christian, going once, going twice.
Imaginary cheese. 700.
700 from the chubby man in the back. 700 for how much?
750 plus a drop of Bobby's blood.
Ooh, that it does fully heal your character if you do drink that. I'm gonna have to stop the auction there. That is our limit. We can legally no longer sell any higher than that, else we're going to have to pay taxes to the state, and we don't trust Baldur's Gate's government, so that's where we're going to end that.
Perfect. Okay. I don't know if that bit's going to win any awards, but we took a chance, and I got some cheese. Bobby didn't participate, as per expected.
You mean auctioneer number 3?
Guys, with the autumn sale coming up the day after this episode releases, that's right, the autumn sale, everything's going to be off on Steam. I thought we'd do a whole episode on sales, and I just want to ask each of you, do you think Steam sales are a scam? That's how I want to start it off.
No?
Okay.
I kind of have a little bit about this, so I'm going to sound like an old fogey here. Steam sales are starting to become like Black Friday is now. It's not there yet, because you can find some insanely good deals on Steam sales.
Right.
Back in the day, when Black Friday was a thing, people were getting ran over because there was like a TV, and it was like a legit TV. It's not a TV that was made for Black Friday, but it would be like a 50-inch plasma TV, and it would be like $1,000 normally, but it was like $250 that on Black Friday, and people would kill each other over it. And the same thing goes for like the Steam sales. The Steam sales would be like, for an hour, fucking Red Dead Redemption 1 is 50 cents. And you're like, what? Like, and people would like run to their phones and their computers to buy a copy of whatever game it was. I don't really do that anymore. But I do know that there's still a lot of good deals on Steam sales.
Okay.
Yeah. They used to call those flash sales.
Where did that? Are those illegal?
Yeah.
Like, why did those?
I was going to say they were lightning deals, but I think you're right.
I thought it was
Bobby.
lightning or flat. I think it was flat. I think Bobby's right.
They would change like every, 8 or 10 hours or something. So you were always on the Steam page just refreshing, seeing what's new, what's on the flash sale.
And I think they realized that, like, I think having a bunch of people using up all your bandwidth isn't, I mean, why? Why have all the people just sitting there clicking refresh, just have all the sales at some point? I mean, they got rid of it for a reason, right?
We should ask.
I don't know. Let me call Gabe. He's probably not that busy at all.
Okay, what are we plugging this week, Bobby?
Speed dial 1.
Dude, he's on 1? He's on 1 for you? I just have to go like this. 2 clicks to the temple. He speaks directly to the noggin.
It's just him giving like a keynote speech on the valuableness, like the value of direct to market marketing for gamers. All right. What are we plugging this week? What are we plugging this week?
Bobby, what are we plugging this week?
Oh, I'm doing the plug. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
me.
Okay. Yeah, hello.
We're plugging our Steam Curator page. So if you don't know what that is, those are games that we've written up a little thing about, games that we like, games that we recommend, and we write a little something about it, and we post it on our Steam Curator page. It's a great place to go if you want to get some really good recommendations. People ask us all the time, what kind of games do you recommend for this or for that? All those answers, keep asking us, but all those answers are on our Steam Curator page.
Yeah, for sure.
God damn. He didn't even know he was doing the plug, and he grabbed it out of somewhere.
Still killed it.
I need to rate the plugs that we give, I think Emilio probably second, Bobby first, and Nick has no standing. I don't know if he's done a plug that I can remember.
I've done like
Maybe.
1 or 2, and they've both been for like the Magic the Gathering podcast. Like,
Yeah.
they've not been like fully pitched things.
Nick needs to plug more. We need to see where he gets in the
This is how it goes. Bobby's a guaranteed win, right? And then I am like 75% going to fail, but 25% of the time,
it's going to be great.
angels cry.
Angels cry.
Yeah. Okay. So starting with our Steam sale philosophies, I feel like I'm going to paraphrase a lot of what Bobby might be about to say in this little section, but I pray at the altar of this. You don't buy it unless you're going to play it immediately, because of how these words have rung true to me. Like Bobby brought down stone tablets from the mountain after I had been astray in the land of a Steam library full of games that I honestly haven't played.
Bobby,
The tablets were
is
in the
gaming
shape
motion.
of savings coupons.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, credit where it's due. I did not come up with that theory. That was actually from one of our listeners a long, long time ago. His name was Lab Monkey. He's still out there somewhere. I don't know if he's still listening, but he had this idea and it kind of blew our minds at the time, and we applied it. Well, I applied it, and it's been great ever since. You're talking to somebody with just way too much crap in his library. And so I have definitely been that person who has jumped on a Steam sale and, a Steam sale would happen and I would drop a minimum of $300, like easy. But not anymore. I'm free from the chains of the Steam sale.
Do we call it the
Lab
Lab Monkey
Monkey
method? Do we call it Lab Monkey method? Is that too much?
The monkey method?
The monkey method? LB?
Monkey.
LM? I don't know. Something. Okay. I have caveats for my rules. So any DLC for Paradox games, they're way too expensive, except when they're not. Old city builders like the Pharaohs or the Caesars, those go on sale sometimes for like $1 or $2. Why not? You can play them for half an hour and try to chest pump some nostalgia back into your body. And then anything old Star Wars. A long time ago, the Star Wars games had a bundle sale, and like every Star Wars game was $7. That was a super good deal. But since then, they haven't had that bundle again, but they will go on extreme sale, like all the old Star Wars classic games. So keep an eye out for those. I think those are worth adding to your library. I don't know. Gonna pass the torch over to Amelia. How do you approach the Steam sale? What's your philosophy? Plan of attack?
Yeah, if something's like shockingly cheap, I will generally pick it up. We'll have some examples of those later, but yeah, you're something like, what the fuck? Is this right? Like, that's almost a guaranteed buy. And I don't completely subscribe to the Lab Monkey thing. I generally pick up 2-3 games per sale, but I'm not spending crazy. I'm not into AAA games for the most part. I mean, I do pick them up sometimes, but I'll spend $25 to $35 on a Steam sale.
Okay, a respectable amount. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I always go to my wish list. Like maybe the first thing that I do after I go to the first page, I go to my wish list and I just go down, and there's some magical threshold where if I see something for the right price, I'll go like, yeah, buy. But usually what ends up happening is I go through my wish list. I go, what the fuck are these things doing?
Who put these?
And I just fucking boot them out. I'm more likely to edit than to buy when I go through my wish list.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
I like to keep that thing nice and tight,
Ooh, not like me. I don't even know how many games are on my wish list. 500 or some bullshit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Nick, how do you approach these things?
I usually don't buy games on Steam sale, and I have it in the last 2 of them. What I end up usually doing, and this sounds pretty scummy, is that key sites will usually reduce their prices when a Steam sale goes when it happens, right? They always want to undercut the market. But what I will do is if there's a game that I am looking for, and I'll reference this to another game later. I'm going to bring it up now, but I'll talk to it in more depth later, is Sekiro, right? So like when Sekiro went on sale for $29.99, it's a huge sale. From Software games don't really go on sale that much, especially like half off. I went to like Kingwin and I was like, it's $27. Like I'm not going to be petty. I'm going to buy it on Steam and directly support the developer. And that was like 2 years ago. Now there has been times where like it's on like a game that's $40 is on sale for $10, and then Kingman's like it's $1, and I'm like, all right, come on, yeah, you can't beat that.
Fuck
like,
them devs.
Fuck them devs. Yeah.
They've already been paid. It's fine.
Yeah.
But no, it's I mean, the like I said, I haven't bought anything in the last 2 years. I don't change what games I play that often, and if I do, I usually don't wait till Steam sales. Yeah, that's what I do is I do gift a lot. So if I see something like Emilio wants and he hasn't bought it yet, and it's like 2 days into the sale, I'll buy it for him especially if it's around like this time of year, if it's like Christmas, I'll buy
It's
something.
true. He just sent me a game like this week.
Yeah. And like I have friends that like they don't like physical gifts. Like they just literally like they have like I have too much shit in my room. I'm like, all right, here's a copy of this zoo game that you wanted. And here you go. And like
that's Auctioneer number 3, by the way. He loves that shit.
No, I do not care for physical gifts. That is true. I don't think people understand when they give me something. I'm like, I live in a 470 square foot apartment.
Nothing in
This
it.
is 1 square. This is 1 square foot.
Where am I going to put that?
Cool. I think something maybe an overlook for the key seller sites, because obviously that comes up in this conversation. Someone posted a long time ago, like a graph, not a graph, whatever, like a checkerboard of ethical versus price off on all the key resellers. Like, oh, they always get their keys from the developer. Oh, they sometimes like gray. And then black was like, these guys always are
that's
finding
me.
extra keys.
I'm the one that talked about that and said that.
Oh, yeah? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I wonder if I can
just so
find
you guys
that
know,
posted,
like,
but-
if you buy something on Kingwin for the month, the devs get money from Kingwin in a paper bag on their doorstep on like Wednesday, the second Wednesday of every month.
Untaxable.
It's really
Untaxable.
It's
It's
untaxable,
paid
and it fills up their petty cash drawer, which is really nice for a business.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? Who's going to pay for muffins on Saturdays?
All right, Bobby.
But no,
what is your? Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
no,
Bobby, tell us why we're all wrong.
Yeah, come on, Bobby. You get it. Come on.
Well, I wanted to go back to the lab monkey rule. I wanted to explain it a little bit more because it sounds pretty draconian to be like, never buy a game unless you're going to play it that second. It's actually a very effective rule and it works if you implement it that way. But, you shouldn't, it's okay to let a sale influence what you're going to play. If you see something that's on sale for very cheap and you want to play it, like that's okay, but just don't buy it just because like it's on sale. So that'll help you avoid on stocking up on a bunch of useless games like I have. I looked at my Steam page and I realized I haven't played 42% of the games in my library. That's almost half of the games that I have purchased I have not played.
Now, Bobby, I mean, that comes with a huge caveat. You didn't buy those games to play them.
I bought a lot of bundles. Yeah.
Not just the bundles, but the whole, when you're trying to get cards or whatever.
Oh, right?
Yeah, that's true. I bought a lot back then. But
yeah.
But I would think that most people, when they log into Steam and look at their library, it may not be you have never played the game, but maybe you played just a little bit of it and you never touched it again and you forgot completely about it. So yeah, but you know what? I wanted to talk a little bit on sales in general and pricing strategies. So you know how annoying it is when someone like goes back to school and they're learning stuff and all they want to do is talk about it? Like that's what this is going to be.
Yes.
Okay. I'm excited. Class is in session. Teacher, let's go.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm working on a business degree. I don't know if I'm going to get it. We'll see. But one of the things they talked about in one of the classes was like pertaining to marketing is the pricing strategies that they use. And I was looking at that and I thought it was interesting how it lined up with games. So one pricing strategy is the everyday low price or EDLP. And this isn't really common in games. This is just every day they've got the same price. It's a reasonable price and that's it. The only game I can possibly think of that kind of uses this is Factorio. I've never seen that game go on sale once. It had a $20 price tag in early access. It came out of early access. Now it's $35 and that's it. You'll never see that game on sale ever. And good for them for sticking to that. But it's pretty rare in games that we see this. More often we're going to see this price skimming. And this is what I'd see in a lot of AAA games. So they price it pretty high at first, 60, $70, and that gives you the idea that the game has some value. There's some demand to play it. Everyone wants to play the new Call of Duty. But then as time passes, the price lowers because the demand lowers. So they counter that with a cheaper price. So we're going to see that in most of the AAA games. But for indie games, they need a different strategy. So that's market penetration. They start off at a real low price because they want to get in there. They want to get as many people playing this game as possible. So that works a little bit better for them. What you'll also see is what we see right now with the sales, high-low is what they call that. So temporarily reduce the price with sales or promotions. And what's very important when you do this is you have a reference point. So the reference point is that original price with a slash through it and then the new price right next to it. So you're getting a really good deal.
I'm losing money not buying this thing.
Exactly. If you see something that's $10 and then you see something that was $30 and is now $10, then there's this perceived value in that other option. So that's why if you look at all the Steam sales, they always show the original price. And that's pretty common with just about anything. But all right, lesson over. Any questions?
Teacher. Sorry, Emilio.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead. You have a question? Go ahead. I'm going to teach the teacher, actually.
Oh, shit. A SmackDown coming up, but not before I have this question. What about the strategy of having your everyday low price shoot up 2 weeks before the sale so that the discount is the exact same price as it is normally, but it looks like you're saving $40. I think that's
exactly what I was going to bring up. I used to work at a grocery store, and we did that. We would raise the prices 2 weeks before the sale, and then drop it down to its regular price.
Do we see that in gaming?
Well, I think because we have Steam DB and it's so easy to see the history of everything, and people on the internet are pretty savvy. So if one person brings it up, you don't want to be hated by the whole internet to make like $10 off a game, right?
I feel like that would go down pretty poorly if you did that. People are pretty sensitive to prices on video games. I'm not exactly sure why. I guess, I don't know. I think it's just kind of a habit built out of years of buying video games. But I never see prices go up. In the case of Factorio, it came out of early access and the price went up. But I've never really seen like the price of a game increase. They'll release DLC or a second game and then the price of that will be more, but like the actual games just tend to depreciate in value.
I was kidding earlier, but what
now he's kidding.
To talk about is Star Wars Outlaws is 25% off right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that, it's what, a month old, 2 months old, maybe. And by the way, if you're thinking, well, this isn't live, but if you're watching the stream, pick it up because a lot of times that will go away when the autumn sale starts, and it just won't be that. Well, I won't say a lot of times, but it's happened to me where like there was a good sale and I was like, the big sale is starting tomorrow. Like it's still going to be there, and it was gone. I forget what it was, but yeah, you got to get those midweek madness or whatever it is. But $25 off that game is pretty good. It's $53 right now.
And they just said they're going to overhaul that game too.
Really? Oh man.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at the reviews. How'd that land?
Not
Anybody
well.
Well, the reviews on Steam are mixed.
I thought they landed quite well.
Yeah, I felt when the game came out that people were generally positive about it. And I was surprised when I looked at the Steam page today to see that the reviews were mixed. So I don't know what's going on with that. But
I think some people didn't like the fact that like a lot of the animations and a lot of the way that the game worked just didn't seem good. Like for example, like you stealth and then you literally just hit the back of a stormtrooper's head with your gun with like a nice little soft bonk, like bink, and then they're unconscious. People were making fun of that. There's a lot of graphical issues. There's a lot of technical issues. The game not running well, even on high-end PCs on launch.
And there's also the fact that it's Star Wars fans are just never happy with anything. So
this is true. You do have the instant -10 because there's a female protagonist because people fucking suck. Yeah. It's dumb. Like the game shouldn't be penalized for that at all. But it's just the world we live in apparently.
So OpenCritic has top critics 75, critics recommended 66, and player rating 70. So it's like an above average game. Slightly above average game.
Dang, I still want to play it, but
no, I'm gonna play it.
These big RPGs,
yeah,
man.
But like I said, they did say that they were gonna just revamp the game, and I was like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, it's like when you hear what is it? Captain America is gonna have reshoots like 2 weeks before it comes out. You're like,
I mean, they reshot a bunch of stuff in that movie because of certain events that happen in real life. But yeah,
No, reshoots are like every movie has reshoots, dude. Like that's just part of the biz, especially in a big budget movie like that.
He can't stop teaching.
he just can't. It's in his blood.
He can't. The class is still
Listen,
in session.
Christian.
Yeah.
Listen, Christian. All these new segments, I don't know. I'm out of my element. What's the next area? Where are we going to?
Best ever deals. So I just want to quickly share what was like the best thing we ever got on a sale, or what was like the best for us personally. So for me, I got City Skylines in 2015 for $16, which is, it was 50% off. So I can't believe a lot of these things. Like, I can't believe the game is only $32 in total. Like, I have 172 hours in a game. I spent $16. Like, it seems a crazy amount of enjoyment.
Hold my binding of Isaac, dude. Hold my binding of Isaac, and we'll talk.
Yeah, that's true. And I can't, like, when I saw that, I just wanted to play City Skylines right now. Like, it just, all the nostalgia rushed back, and I was like, why am I not playing this game? Well, because I'm addicted to Crusader Kings 3 right now. But that was my best deal. Nick, what did you get? It stuck with you.
So I'll talk about the one that impacted me the most is definitely the Project Zomboid 4-pack. It was $29.99, and mind you, the game itself is $20. And so
damn,
I bought a 4-pack, gave one to each of my friends, and we ended up playing for like 3 or 4 hours. And then 2 of my friends don't like games that you actually have to try in. And me and another friend played a bunch after that. And I actually want to get into
a copy, not a friend.
You're a family member.
If you guys didn't get copies,
you're a family member. Bobby's a coworker, and Sniper is a foreign asset. So there you go.
If you would have gifted me a copy of Project Zomboid, I would have gifted it back, dude. I'm with your friends on this one. That game is terrible. I don't understand why people like that one.
I like that game.
It is
I've been playing
good
it for you.
game. It's very, very hard. There's a lot of systems and subsystems in the game. And it's like Tarkov. Like, the learning curve is so hard. You go from having to spend hours and hours and hours just to live longer than 10 minutes. And then once you do, you become like some weird savant that can now like survive for months on end in the game. And it's interesting.
The 4-packs.
The last time that I played it, I learned that you should be ducking at windows because they can see through the windows. Yeah. I didn't know that at all. That's why I was getting killed. So
isn't this a 2D game from?
Yeah.
It's a nice isometric.
And then
Okay.
There's now like servers where people run cities and stuff like that, and there's like RPing and things like that, like and content creators do them often where it's like 50 people on a server, and like people would be like a pizza delivery guy and they're trying to deliver pizza while zombies are chasing them and shit. It's hilarious, dude.
RP, sign Bobby up. The 4-packs on Steam. What? I feel like I read they had to get rid of that for like some consumer there was something.
Bobby said that it's probably because of region locking games, right, Bobby? Or something like that.
I mean, that was my guess. Yeah, we talked about this maybe a month or two ago. It came up, but Steam made a change around 2015, 2016, where you couldn't keep games in your inventory anymore because people in countries like Russia or Brazil, where games were cheaper, would buy a bunch of copies and then they would sell them to people like through PayPal or Venmo or whatever in places where they're more expensive. They'd they'd mark it up a little bit, but it was still cheaper than the prices on the Steam page. And if they did it during a sale, like they just stocked up on a bunch of games during the sale and then sold them when they weren't on sale, you could turn a pretty good profit. So they stopped doing that, and you couldn't keep games in your inventory. And when you bought a 4-pack of a game, you'd get 1 copy, and then you'd get 3 games in your inventory that you could hand out. So I don't know. That was my theory why they stopped it, but I guess you could still do it like a gift, you know?
So
do that?
When I bought what is it, Lethal Company, there was an option, so when you bought it, you can buy like a 4-pack, and you could just choose who you're gifting it to immediately. And you just chose from the list of your friends like you do when you normally gift stuff. But there was
a 4-pack.
Oh, so there's a 4-pack still.
Recently.
Oh,
Okay.
Cool. I had no idea that they were still around. That's awesome to hear. Sweet.
Fallout Nick?
Yeah. Another one is I played Fallout 4 on PlayStation 4. I loved it. I wanted to get into modding, and funny enough, the sale just happened to spring that like time we were getting an itch. And it was Fallout Game of the Year edition for $25, and that's all the DLC and everything. And I was like, this is a steal. Normally the game is $60. Each DLC is $15 to $20. How do you not buy this? And that was a blast because I ended up modding the shit out of it and making myself a space marine, flying, a bunch of other stuff, graphical updates and changes, all kinds of things. I turned the game into a horror game at one point, which was really fun. And it was completely worth $25. I at least played the game for like 60 or 70 hours just on PC.
Nice. For me, Jedi Fallen Order, when I saw that for $5, like a year after it came out, maybe 2 years, I was like, what is going? I fucking put a hole through my mouse when I clicked on that one, dude.
I think you bought
and
that
then I
game
ended
for
up
me
loving
at
it,
that
which
point.
made it so much better, dude. I love that game. I was like blown away. I was like, if I could go back in time and give it Game of the Year, I would have. I really liked that game. And then the Orange Box, Valve's Orange Box, I used to talk about every episode. Like I would tell people, I was screaming from the fucking my soapbox. It's like, fucking, if you don't have these games, get these games. This is what a Valve Orange Box used to be. So, and by the way, a lot of these are free now, but they weren't at the time.
Yeah.
They were regular price. So you get Half-Life 2, which is, the best PC game ever made, some people say. You get episode 1 for it. You get episode 2 and Lost Coast. Those are all in there. You get Portal, which was one of the best puzzle games I've ever played. And Team Fortress 2, which was $20 at the time. So you get all of those fucking games for $20. And then there was a sale. The first time I went on sale, I went to $10. I was like, you're fucking losing money not buying this.
Emilio's on the street corner yelling at random people.
yeah.
Log on to steam.com. You're losing money right
Give me your phone. Give me your phone.
I don't remember.
Starts typing.
I don't know. Bobby, do you remember me talking about the Orange Box all the time? When we
Yeah,
first
but I
started
feel
the
like that
podcast?
was a while ago. Like the Orange Box it's pretty dated by now.
Yeah, so am I, dude. So am I.
Yeah, rude.
Thanks for reminding me.
Let me feel young.
And that was
Bobby
before.
telling me
day.
what's dated. Jesus
Nice didn't
Christ.
have more than 3 buttons and no
Still
wheel.
teaching. Still
Bobby,
teaching.
tell us why we're wrong.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, I just wanted to call attention to Titanfall 2, which is $30 regularly. About a year ago, I saw it on sale for $2.99. Amazing deal. That's like what, 90% off? Ridiculous. Picked it up. Broke the lab monkey rule. Bought it.
Yeah.
Never played it. Still sitting in my library. Never touched it.
He's so upset about those $3. Like he's stewing.
I'll never
But you know what?
financially
I
recover
bought
from
it
this.
and I broke the rule knowing full well it's just $3. Like, what the hell,
Right.
So, yeah, but that's a great deal. And, one of these days I'm going to play that game. One of these days.
One of these days. You
but
live on the
I really-
wild
Pretty good.
side, Bobby, a bit with that
Yeah.
$3. You're a little dangerous,
I know. I'm just hemorrhaging money at this point. But I want to call attention to the biggest deals out there, and that is the free games on Epic. They give these things out all the time. And I think during the holidays, they do like one a day or something. I don't know if they're going to do that again this
12
year.
games,
Yeah.
I think.
And last year, usually the last day of that is the big game. And last year, I believe that was Death Stranding for free.
Wow. That's
They're
cool.
giving that game out. And I looked at my Epic library. I've never spent a dime on Epic. Yeah, that's right. I've never spent anything. I just had to check and make sure. But yeah, never spent a cent in that launcher, but I have 437 games. So I'm getting those free games.
Jesus.
They have a
Just sell your
tracker
Epic
somewhere.
account at this
They
point.
have like a leaderboard in the back end of Epic. They're like, who is this fucking guy? He gets every free game. Sometimes we don't
Yeah.
we shadow drop it for a couple hours. He's there. He's clicking
You know
get
what?
my library.
We've got a channel in our Discord. Check it out, dlgaming.net. It posts when there's deals going on, and those Epic free games show up there all the time. So people do this all the time, man. I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people out there with over 400 games in their Epic library. Probably haven't played any of them, but they're showing up every few weeks to get that free game like it's a welfare check. But I just want to point out some of the great games that I got from there. I mean, I mentioned Death Stranding. They've had Borderlands 2, 3, and the pre-sequel on there. All 3 remastered BioShock games. Ark, Survival Evolved, not for me.
Jeez.
Some people like it. Among Us, I mean, that's only a couple bucks, big hit. Recently, they had Alien Isolation. They had one of Emilio's favorites, A Plague Tale: Innocence, for free on there. The best point-and-click adventure game out there, Thimbleweed Park, free. And then For the King, which Nick and I both love. And also Star Wars Squadrons, which I know Christian was a fan of. And that's just a
Year
sample.
Zero also was a AAA title. I believe that was $60 when it came out.
Yeah, Mutant Year Zero was... That was a pretty popular game. I don't know if it was 60 when it came out. And also World War Z. I like that one. But I mean, the list goes on. They've given away a lot of decent games on there. And
Dude.
Every now and then when I don't know what to play, I go to that library and I just search around and I find something and I'm like, oh yeah, I totally forgot about that one.
I feel like, should I pay for any games? Now that I'm looking at this list, I'm like, you can buy a computer and pay nothing for games just with the EGS free game giveaways. Like, I think
Yeah.
that's the takeaway here. Okay, cool.
I kind of feel like, not to extend the conversation here, but I feel like when free-to-play games became a thing, it affected the way that we viewed other games, like paid games. So you didn't used to see games or people giving away games like this or things like super discounted before like the free-to-play surge. I don't know. Maybe I'm just misremembering that. But I think the free-to-play thing got real popular maybe around the early 2010s, like maybe 2012-ish or something. And before that, I don't know if I ever saw like any outrageous deals.
I think
Unless...
what precluded that was probably getting the first couple chapters of a game in a cereal box, or when you bought another game bundled as like some sort of holiday deal. Like that was the only time where you're like, oh, I have this bonus game that I paid nothing for and I'm playing it. How cool is that?
Yeah.
And now we're just giving away fucking full games on EGS.
I mean,
Dude,
for the
Pizza
longest
Hut
time, I remember buying a video card in like 2003 and it came with Deus Ex and a few other
They
games.
still do that, dude.
Yeah,
They still do that.
Yeah, that's still commonplace today, but they've been doing that
Granted,
for
it's
a long
Assassin's
time.
Creed, but no
so.
one's that. But.
Yeah. I mean, even like way back in the day, there was a way to get free games. And then what you were describing, Christian, the shareware model, that's been around since like Commander Keen, where you get the first level free and then you got to mail in a check to some random developer and he'll send you the floppies in the mail.
Yeah.
Those
Leave
are the
cash on
days.
their doorstep. What day is it? Tuesday, Wednesday, something. Shopping tricks.
Yesterday I was
Yep.
I was reminiscing about a PC gamer would always have a CD like on the newsstand. You know, it would be wrapped in plastic with a CD, and that thing would have demos in it. And fuck, man,
That was awesome.
so awesome,
Dude,
I loved it. Love it.
Pizza Hut, if you ordered on a Friday, on like half of the year, would give you a demo for like PlayStation. And my cousins had like all of them. Now, granted, some of them were repeats. They'd be like Tony Hawk Pro Skater, Mech Warrior, all these other things. And you're like, cool. And then you get the next one, and be like Tony Hawk Pro Skater, Crash Bandicoot, Mech Warrior. You're like, was one different game. But yeah, I remember that very well. That there was always a way to kind of like demo a game or play the first couple levels. And that kind of like was the little tester strip for addiction. You were like, oh, this game's sick. And then you'd be like, should I rent it or should I buy it? Can I beat this in one or 2 days, or should I buy it?
Real quick, I gotta get on the Pro Skater thing. So fucking YouTube shorts. You're watching those fucking very interesting 5-second things.
Yeah.
And he's like talking about, he knew that the game did well, Tony Hawk, but he didn't know how well. And his agent was like, hey, let's sit down and talk about part 2 and part 3. And he's like, okay, how did the game do? He goes, just meet me for lunch. So they meet for lunch, and he slides him a check for $14 million. He's like,
and he couldn't believe it. Yeah, he was like, what?
Like, it did pretty good.
It did excellent. Wow. That's awesome. shopping tricks. So if you're out there right now in 2024, how do you get the best deals? No longer are we looking in cereal boxes and PC Gamer magazines, but with patience and timing. So if you time when you buy games, you can save a lot of money. And you may be thinking, well, I kind of know when the sales roughly are. They got one in winter, they got one in summer. You're right. But there is a full list on SteamDB of every single sale and special event and developer special event that is going to exist in the next couple months. So if you kind of curate what you're going to play based on these special events, you can save quite a bit of money. RTS Fest is in January, so probably guaranteed that something like Mechabellum will be on sale then. And I'll be looking at the list of RTSs in January, figuring out, okay, what can I play here that's a little bit cheaper than normal.
How much is Mechabellum paying you, dude? Jesus, can we get through one episode without you?
Legally, we
what are
can't,
the checks
Emilio.
like?
Okay, legally we can. Don't bring it up, okay? It's pretty cool that we have SteamDB. They have the price history of every game. They have every single change that's made to the app. So like if the developer adds another level or something, that'll be on the app upload history. They have the key art of all the game in the back end. They have all the prices in all the different regions. There's no Xbox DB. There's no PlayStation DB. There's no Nintendo DB. That information they don't make publicly accessible in these easy to search consumer databases like Steam does. So I think take advantage of what Steam has provided for you. Check out some of these events that are coming up. Check the price history and save some money. Bobby, what do you got for shopping tricks?
All right, here's my tip. Number one, get augmented Steam for many, many reasons. So augmented Steam is an extension. It's on Chrome. I'm sure it's on other browsers, but it enhances your experience when browsing the Steam website. Lots of ways, but it helps with sales in this way. It integrates isthereanydeal.com right into the Steam page. That's a great website that just shows deals, basically. So it'll show you right on the Steam webpage if there is a current low price, like if it's discounted somewhere else, and it has a link right to that location. It also shows you the historical lows. Has the game ever been on sale? So if it has, maybe you want to wait and you can catch that super good deal some other time. It also shows if the game's part of any bundles that are happening. So there's these, I mentioned isthereanydeal.com. This is a great website. If you haven't seen it, you got to check it out. It's great if you want to go there, and it just shows all the current deals that are happening right now. It does show historical ones, but like right now you can go on there and it'll show them from the top websites that do this. Humble Bundle's a big one. Also Fanatical and Indie Gala are great as well. Itch.io has some stuff, but it shows bundles and sales. There's actually a few really good ones going on right this second too. I think there's a one where you can get System Shock and the Crisis, all three Crisis remastered, like a whole bunch of them. I used to buy these bundles up left and right, but I don't know, but bundles completely goes against my philosophy now, because if you buy a bundle, there's no way you're playing all those three games right then. So it's just like, I don't know, man. You'd have to be like, okay, I'm going to play all three crises this weekend. Also, the Steam wish list is pretty good just for getting notified about a deal. Like sometimes I'll just put something in there. Number one, because I want to know when the game comes out. I put a lot of unreleased games there. And number two, like when it's on sale, you get that right in your inbox. And like I pretty much do everything by my email. So that's the best way for me to get a notification. But those are my tips.
Cool.
You know what's funny is that I ended up not using augmented Steam until you guys told me to use it like 30,000 times. And one of the best things to use it in conjunction with is the built-in wish list thing in Steam itself, especially if you have the app on your phone. What ends up happening is if you wish list something, they'll notify you if it goes on sale. And then when you log into Steam on your computer, you can use augmented Steam to see if this is the record low. And it works really well in conjunction with the wishlist function. That's how I find most of my pricing deals for any games that I want to buy, but I don't want to I don't want to spend like a large amount of money on is like just the wish listing feature on Steam is great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it works really well for those not safe for work games that you have in your wish list too.
I'm not going to pay $34 for Tits Island 3. I'm going to wait till that goes
I think
on
there's
sale.
a setting in Augmented Steam where you can bypass that like age verification window right away.
Oh, there
too,
is.
so-
Yeah, that's handy.
Oh,
Nice.
I'm glad you're so familiar with that. My trick is very lame, but like it's funny because I do this periodically. So you go to look for deals or whatever you have the list of all the games that are on sale, and then you add the filter for the genre that you're looking for, generally roguelikes for me. And then you click, and then you cross-reference that by how positively it was reviewed. And when I do this in any genre, the first page is gone. It's all in your library already. Like I can't buy any of it. It's all fucking gone already. Like, so I've done this a lot, and most of the time it works out. You know, I mean, these games are overwhelmingly positive for a reason. So yeah, it's just a list of you. So you get like 40 on the first page, and you can just go down it. Oh, what is this one I don't own? And you click on it, and you enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself.
Nice.
Treat yourself.
Yeah.
And Nick, what's going on with your shopping tricks?
I think I already mentioned it as far as like my shopping trick was just use the wish list in conjunction with
Oh, sorry. Got it.
Augmented Steam.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but that was my tip.
Okay, cool. Moving on. With sales come an unplayed backlog. So games I want to play if I wasn't addicted to Crusader Kings 3. I have like 9 weeks off work, which is the most time I've had off work since I was like a kid in my life. And it's just so freeing. And all I'm doing with all this extra time is playing Crusader Kings.
Since I was in my dad's scrotum, have I not had this much fucking play game?
Yeah.
Give us a little story, dude. I'm curious. What's going on at Crusader Kings 3?
Well, okay. So I take Mara, my newborn daughter, in the very early of the morning because Rianne takes the night shift. So I get up at 5:30. I give her for her first feed, and we watch the show Vikings together. And then I try to keep her for the next like 5 to 6 hours.
And by the way, the show Vikings is just ramping you up for Crusader Kings. I
Dude,
feel
yeah. So
yeah.
I watched the first
It's
Where do
fuel
episode.
to the
you think
fire.
he learns his diplomacy from, man?
Yeah. I watched the first episode, or I watched the one episode of Vikings. The coffee is brewing in the background. We get the bottle fed. She falls pretty close to asleep. I pat her little head, make sure she's truly out. Then I put her in the baby wrap, so now she's on my chest sleeping, and we can do anything. Now it's a game changer. Now we could be so productive. We could clean. We could learn. We could do whatever we want. But what are we doing? We're playing Crusader Kings 3 because as I was watching Vikings, I was like, how much of this is true? Is any of this true? I know nothing about Vikings. And then I discovered actually a lot of this is true. The exact timing of the characters isn't historical, but basically a lot of the exploits in the show actually happened in real life. And it's cool because they happened in like the dark age of history. So like they're filling in the blanks with their best guesses in like the fantasy television series. So I'm like, well, fuck. Crusader Kings 3 is set in this era. Why don't I go on and see if I can be one of these Vikings that I'm watching the show of? So I go and I'm playing. I see all the sons of Ragnar fucking Lothbrok, guys. If you know what I'm talking about, if you watch Vikings,
Hey.
they're the invaders of England from the Norseland. So this is when England was getting pummeled, and I pick one, and basically I've made England Norseland. It's all Vikings, and I really wanted to do the S.T.A.L.K.E.R, which is the Viking religion. I really wanted to change Catholicism. That's overrated. I think we can all agree. We had our fun with it, but the Viking
yeah, me
religion,
personally, 30 years.
the Viking religion. We're talking about human sacrifices. We're talking about blood orgies. I mean, it's pretty cool, pretty metal. So I think England could be a little bit more cool and metal. And I'm progressing through. My grandson, he's really pushing this religion on the English people, and I'm converting, and it's going all well. And then Scotland, France, West Germany called East Francia, the top of Spain, Italia. You know, the game is called Crusader Kings 3. You think they're going to go to Jerusalem? No, not in this timeline. They go straight to England where we're having our orgies and everything else. So I had to unfortunately convert to Catholicism before they all came and killed me. So now we're boring. You know, we have monogamy. We have, you know, we have to flagell ourselves with like hooks if we do sins, you know, all that kind of, you know,
Jeez.
Catholic stuff.
You can just say you did, dude.
Yeah, well, some of my vassals are, and I throw them in jail because I find once they get a little blood orgy in
Your
them,
assholes are what?
Vassals.
Oh, vassals.
Yeah.
That's the thing you keep your assholes in.
It's kind of like a vase.
That was the stupidest joke. That was good. Yeah. And so now I'm my great grandson of Ragnar Lothbrok, and I have all these children, and I'm trying to invade the north of France, make Normandy. And I still have 400 more years to play and only 2 more weeks off work, so I don't think I'm going to finish. And then I'm never going to... I have to hit uninstall on this because obviously I don't have the willpower to stop myself. It's pretty clear to me. But if I wasn't addicted to Crusader Kings 3, in my backlog, we have Cyberpunk. I don't know, played maybe 15 hours of it, 20 hours of it. Why don't I go back? It's a great game. Star Wars Outlaws. City Skylines 2 was pretty hyped for that. Victoria 3, Total War Pharaoh, Skyrim, all these big fucking games that I'm never going to have the time to play that I should be playing now. But all I can do is make England Norseland and Crusader Kings. And like Bobby, I also have a percentage of unplayed games in my library. It's 82% played. So I think 80, that's a good, I'm passing. I don't know, Americans, you use the A, B, and C. I have no idea. A minus, B plus, something like that. I'm doing
B
good.
plus, yeah.
Yeah. So that's my unplayed backlog and Crusader Kings story. Emilio, what do you got?
So I kind of copied from both of your guys's. So the titles that I started but never finished, I got that from Bobby. XCOM 2 and the DLC War of the Chosen. Or Chosen, as they put here. I don't know. Every time I play it, I have a great time, and then I just stop playing it. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know what's going on. And then
the vassals is where the vassals is where you put the assholes. Oh my god! It hit me in round 2.
And then,
it hit me over.
Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty. I think it's because I had just finished Cyberpunk and whatever 80 or 90 hours, and I went right into Phantom Liberty, and it was just like too much. Like I had to pull back, but everybody says it's fantastic, so I just haven't done it. Titles I want to play: Star Wars Outlaws and Baldur's Gate, but I don't think we're gonna get a deeper cut. Like, I'll buy Star Wars Outlaw for $15. That's my rate. So listen up,
Ubisoft.
there.
Yeah.
Ubisoft.
Meet me in the middle.
Yeah. And then
Ubisoft's
Unplayed
like
games.
never.
I'm right there with you, man. I mean, how did you figure out your 82%, by the way?
The SteamDB link that I linked you all has just the percent there for me once you hook up your library to it.
I'm going to try to do that now and make sure that it's accurate, because I actually went to Unplayed games, see how many I had, and then subtracted it from my total.
Wow.
So anyway.
Math the long way. Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very nice.
You guys?
Nicholas?
Nick, what you got?
As far as for me, I think I just talked about it too, is Project Zomboid. I only put like 5 hours in that game, 4 hours in that game, and I just really want to get into the multiplayer aspect of it. Another one is Sons of the Forest. Me and my friends started a run, and then like I think it was the WoW, like a WoW expansion came out like 2 days later, 3 days later, and then we just completely dropped the game. It was so fun. Like, it's just so fun killing cannibals and mutants all together, and then riding our one-wheeled segways, which were just the best. And then lastly, I bought Sekiro ages ago, and I bought it on sale, and I haven't touched it. One of the games of the year for a lot of people, never touched it. So,
All right. Yeah, I've got a bunch of games that I've started but never finished, and I put down the ones that I'm actually kind of close to finishing or I have some desire to finish. The number one is obviously Doom 3. I talk about that all the time. That'll be my life's work if I ever actually finish that game. Also, Divinity Original Sin 2, so close to the end.
How
I'm
close
like
are
right
you?
there. So there's like the 3 big areas, and then there's like one little area, I believe. And I've just started the little area at the end. So, I mean, we're talking hours and hours of gameplay, but like compared to the entire game, it's very close.
Okay.
No, that said, Bobby, like I think we would have, me and you, we had a playthrough. I think had we not fucked up the stars that you were supposed to collect, which we had no idea.
That was the first original or Divinity Original Sin that we messed up. Yeah, we got to
Really?
the end. Yeah, we got to the end, and we were supposed to hang on to these some item, and I had just been throwing them away. And,
Yeah.
Then we
I've been
couldn't
just selling
progress
them for
any.
thousands of gold.
We couldn't progress
No.
any further at all. Yeah, we had Mini Del Macho, if you remember him from back in the day. He was walking us through the end of that because we couldn't figure it out. And he's like, okay. And then you just pull out
All right,
these
bust out the
shards
stars.
here. I'm like, whoops. I'm going to have to go back and check with some bartenders and some innkeepers.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where those are at. We're gonna
Town's
have to
been
do some
burned down. You're
backtracking.
just picking it up from out of the
Are
ashes.
is it like a random item, or is it like glowy? Is it like obvious that they're important?
Well, it starts off, I can't remember what these items are called, but they start off as something valuable, and then you like use them up and they turn into something else. And I was like, oh, don't need that anymore, whatever was left over, but apparently you do. All right. So the other games that I want to finish, Outlast 2. I love the Outlast games. I owe it to Outlast to finish Outlast 2. And Soma. So close to finishing that game. Great game. Not sure why I stopped playing it. The games that I have not played at all and I want to play, I put Baldur's Gate 3 here. I have played that, but not nearly enough. And I really got to get into that. Like, I know it's going to be good. It's just a matter of like giving it enough time to get its hooks in me. Also, because I spent $3 on it, I got to play Titanfall 2. I'm obligated. Like,
Legally obligated.
I'm not going to let the one time I break the rule, I'm not going to let that get by. And then also I picked up recently on a sale, Core Keeper and Traveler's Rest. I played a little bit of these games, like just started them. And I want to continue to play them. It's been kind of a rocky start with both, but I think I just need a little bit more time.
Cool. And that was pretty much our sales episode. We have a little bit more at the very end, but for right now, listener questions, Bobby, what do we got?
All right, let's start off with Zap. He's got a few listener questions here, starting with this one. The Game Awards just released their list of Game of the Year nominees. What is your Game of the Year for this year that didn't come out this year?
You trying to get us to spill the beans, bro? You know you got to wait for our Game of the Year episode, you fucking...
Well, that didn't come out this year.
Well, that's what we always do.
That's what we
Yeah.
always do.
We don't limit ourselves to just one year.
Yeah, we can't be boxed in by this
Game of the year is what
concept
you
called
call
time.
it.
By the
Game of the
establishment.
Year is so good. Bro, the assholes in my vassal, I'll never get over that. I might as well get that tattooed on my fucking body. That's crazy.
The assholes in the vessel.
You keep your assholes in the vassals, dude.
Did any comments or opinions on the Game of the Year nominees? I know there's been
Yeah,
been some hubbub about the DLC.
I have a couple. I can get on my soapbox really quick if you guys
Well,
want. I'm pretty sure Amelia's going to say the same thing.
Can somebody list it first, and then we'll go from there? While I'm doing
Like the
something
Game
else.
of the Year nominees.
Yeah. And well, I'm going to start with Balatro, which was I was glad that like an indie title was on there. I didn't think it would be that one though.
Dude, have you heard how much that game has like made and like how often it's streamed and how often it's played? It's insane.
Yeah,
It's like
it's
there
a
are
good
like
game.
there are like
One
truckers
person
who've
made it.
never heard of. Yeah, it's
Wow.
crazy.
But I mean, published by
So
PlayStack. But oh, sorry, go Nick.
I'll read the nominees. So we have Balatro, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Black Myth Wukong, Astrobot, Metaphor Refantasio, and then Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree. Now, I don't know how to feel about this because Shadow the Erdtree was so good, right? It's essentially another game. There's at least 40 hours of content just to finish the main story, right? But what I will say is that should DLC be nominated for Game of the Year at that caliber?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry,
yeah, not all DLCs are fucking made equal, dude. Like,
no,
yeah,
not even
sure.
close. Like the
are
Fallout
we all
DLC
on the
that
other
was,
side? Are we all on the side that it should be on there? I love that.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm talking about Elden Ring by itself, right? If you talk about a Fallout DLC, for example, the one that just lets you have random encounters with fucking like Nuka-Cola people, no, like that shit it was like 3 hours long. That doesn't deserve to be on Game of the Year at all. But when it's a whole nother game essentially, then yeah, it deserves to be there. What I do not like is remakes. We get so many of them a year that they should have their own category. It should be remake of the year or reimagining of the year. So like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I'll tell you, there's 2 games that should be there instead of that, either Helldivers 2 or Space Marine 2. They're both amazing games, and I don't think Final Fantasy should have like a Game of the Year kind of level nomination. Black Myth Wukong, sure, it's a great game. People like it. I'm not a big fan of it. Astrobot apparently is a great family game, and people have been talking about it up and down the poll that it's just a fun game. Even if you just play it by yourself and you don't play it with family members, there's like time trials and stuff like that. It's a great platformer. I know Metaphor, a lot of people were surprised by it, but it just does really well in Asia. And then Balattro's Balatro, and it's addicting. It's like crack. I don't play it for a reason. I honestly think like my only change to this list would be taking out Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, put it in a category with Silent Hill 2 remake and whatever fucking remakes that came out this year as well, and then put in, I would say Helldivers 2, only because Helldivers 2 made a more gaming market
Such a splash,
impact
dude. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Than Space Marine 2, but I have more fun playing Space Marine 2.
I agree with
Space
Nick
Marine.
word for word. He hasn't told a lie. Tell me one thing wrong he said. Not DLC.
Space Marine. I have a friend who's like, I'm not playing the game. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I kept pestering. I'm like, dude, I'm telling you right now, you used to play game. You have over 700 hours in Gears of War 1. I promise you will like this game. And he was like, no. And then he ended up playing it, and he's like, it's one of the greatest games ever made. I'm like, I fucking told you, dude. Good. It feels like you're playing games in 2009 again. Like, and it's good. Like, everything's updated and good. And he's like, yeah, I should have listened. I'm like, you fucking idiot. Like, just listen to the guy who talks about video games for a living, or like for a fucking hobby. It's just,
for a living.
I don't get paid.
How much are you making, bro?
God damn, dude.
Bobby's paying me out of the check.
Let me know, Bobby. Wow, Bobby's sliding you the cash.
On that note, Zap also asks, now that DLCs can be Game of the Year, what DLC, past or present, deserves this honor?
None. That's the point.
I know what Emil's going to say.
The Elden Ring DLC is special. That's why it should be on the list. Like,
none.
No, I think there's one other one that should, and that's the Blood and Wine.
Yeah, Blood and Wine was fantastic.
Once again, another 30 hours, 20 hours of content.
Yeah.
Whole new story, whole new gear system. Like, it revamps the game. The way they did Shadow the Erdtree that makes it so good, right? Is that there's nothing you can do in the base game to make you strong in the DLC. It's literally like starting over a new character because it has its own leveling system in the area. Like, you can be level 100, you can be a level 200, and it's going to be just as hard. And it's just so much went into it. And then same thing with Blood and Wine. They made it scale to you. Another DLC that I would consider Game of the Year available, if we're talking about indie titles, is the newest Isaac DLC. At least another 80 hours, 70 hours of content in just that DLC alone.
It's not unique, but it is rare for sure. But
yeah,
it
you
should
only
be.
get a
I
DLC like
don't
that
know if
every
you
other
want to
2
base
years.
it based on just how much content you're getting out of a game, too. I think there's other factors as well. I mean, those DLCs that you're mentioning are good for other reasons. Although I'm noticing we're leaving out Phantom Liberty. We don't want to include that. And
Phantom Liberty. I didn't play it, so I can't speak to it like to a degree. I know people say that made them play Cyberpunk, and it changed their opinion on the game entirely. And probably Amelia could probably tell you more than I can.
I think one of my problems with Phantom, just sidebar, my problem with Phantom Liberty was you get an option of starting a brand new character or continuing your old one, and I continued my old one, and I think I was just kind of tired of playing it like that. Big strong guy, big stick, and maybe that had something to do with it. I should have started a new character for that. So maybe I will. I'm not too far into it.
Since we're about to get off the Game Awards, just really quick, I want to remember you out there, gamers, do your civic duty and vote. Go through all 29 categories. It's going to take you a while.
Jeez, is there really 29 categories now?
Why not participate in the awards of the thing you enjoy? Of course.
Can anyone vote?
Yeah, there's like a user voter thing.
There are player choice categories for the Game Awards. So I think there's three player choice slots that will end up being picked up. So your vote does count in some respect.
So wait, you can vote on all the categories and it may get a player's choice award?
Yeah, so when you look at the website after the Game Awards, it'll show the big list of games, what won Game of the Year, and then in the same category, it'll show the user voted thing.
It'll be interesting to see if those match up.
But Bobby, don't sign up unless you're going to vote right then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then that would be a waste of your
breaking the lab monkey.
All right, final question from Zap. Where do you get games besides Steam? Have you checked out key sites like Green Man Gaming, Humble Bundle, or G2A? Have you had any negative experiences?
I used to go for the bottom barrel key sites. I never had a negative experience. I always got the game, but then I realized that they were basically stealing codes from developers or getting codes unethically, and then selling those for money so that the developer didn't actually get any money. So I thought, that's not worth. I only spend $2, but I feel so shitty after,
Yeah.
So if you are going to buy on a key
sites,
reseller, just make sure that usually they have like a badge or something. They get it right from the publisher developer. Yeah,
and I think Green Man Gaming and Humble Bundle, those are legit sites. G2A might be a little iffy. I had a bad experience on G2A. I bought Grand Theft Auto 5 and it got yanked out of my Steam library after a few months. They did refund me, which was nice of G2A, but yeah, apparently something wasn't quite on the level with that purchase. I also used to sell games on G2A, so when I'd buy a lot of these bundles, I would get keys for games that I already had, so I would just post them on there and I'd make a little money. It honestly wasn't worth the effort after a while, so I stopped doing it, and I don't really even have any keys to give away anymore. I never used those like Kinguin or G2A, but occasionally I'll get something on Humble Bundle or the one I always talk about, GOG.com. No DRM, great website.
Bobby, I don't know if you remember, but we partnered for a very short time with one of these resellers. They were also called DL Gaming.
Really?
That was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, and I sent them an email, and I was like, "Listen, it's meant to be, And they're like, "Oh yeah," and so we fucked around a little bit for them. I don't know how much money was made either way, but we did.
I don't think any of our sponsorships ever worked out.
I don't know, man. Those vitamins that we got from somewhere, I still feel
Gorilla
good.
Mind?
Yeah, Gorilla Mind.
Yeah.
I'm so smart right now.
Those were good.
All right. They might have counteracted.
Not a question, but Chaos Emerald just wanted to say thanks for answering my Steam Deck question. You guys are ace.
Yeah.
No problem, dude. That's why we're here. Talk to us.
Absolutely, dude. All right. And we got 2 more questions from Nyanko. The first one is a hypothetical. So this was kind of complicated. I tried to simplify it a little bit here, so you can answer clearly. So basically he's saying, think of the average game on your Steam wish list and judge it based only on a few seconds of the trailer and the Steam review score. How heavily discounted does it need to be for you to buy it eyes closed based on these 3 factors? A positive review between 65 and 85%, whether it's cheap or expensive, and whether it just came out.
I can
Just
answer
came
this
out
real
has no holding. I don't care.
same here.
When it just came out. Also, the reviews aren't that important once it's made it to my wish list. Definitely. Like,
We've already passed
I
the
don't-
review phase.
yeah, you already passed my review. You know,
Apparently not, dude.
Yeah,
the
your-
way you go
your
in there
first
and clean
impression.
things out.
this is
You
true.
could leave
This is
at
why
any time.
I edit constantly. And then price. That's the number one factor for sure. Like if I see a 75, 80, 90% off, it's bought. It's bought.
All right.
I think
But great question. I don't know how well you did since Bobby edited it, but good question.
Well, he also asks, why does it seem like nobody is buying games in the order they add them to their wish list?
This
And
is
that's a
just
very-
psycho. This
That's a
is
silly question, dude.
This-
What are you talking
No,
about?
I think this is really
Nobody-
interesting
nobody
because I've
does that.
noticed nobody. Well, first of all, augmented Steam lets you, for people who have wish lists 10 miles long, it lets you filter those and sort them, which is very useful. Now, everybody uses their wish list differently. For me, I put a lot of games on there that aren't out yet, and I want to be notified when the game comes out. And then I have a few on there where, yeah, I just want to catch them on a sale, so I'll keep an eye on it.
But Steam does this native. You guys have both mentioned this, but Steve does this natively. Like I get emails from Steam about things being on sale that are on my wish list. No?
if
Yeah,
it's
that's what I'm
over
saying.
20%,
That's why
you'll get an email. Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
The threshold.
Well, I don't know about
Gotcha.
the threshold, but I put games on my wish list so I get notified through email. But I also do, and this is kind of weird, I only have 10 or 11 games on my wish list, but I do order them. I don't know why. This is just like a habit that I started back in the day, and I just kept doing it. My wish list is so small that it's not very difficult to do, but I do order them like when like most important to least important. So,
Interesting. Oh,
yeah, which I don't
Nice.
think
That's pretty
anybody
smart.
does.
No, to me, this seems like I'm going to be killed by you and Nyonko behavior. Like, this is so foreign and alien to me because my wish list has, I think, 293 titles on it. And I use the wish list as this looks interesting. I want to be notified when it's on sale, just in case it's interesting enough at a future time that I want to make a purchase, which happens for a lot of games.
I think that's how most people use it too. I still don't fully understand the follow button on Steam, so maybe that's another way of doing that. I don't know, but
Is it
You'll
that just to get you get notifications based off of if the game has a new DLC or the developer is doing something,
yeah,
right?
but where do you get those?
Well, you
new,
have Steam notifications in the top right with the new Steam that was unveiled, but also I don't know if anyone uses this feature, but if you go to news on Steam and you go to your news feed, you'll see like what your friends are doing, but then you'll also see all the games and publishers that you follow. If they post news, it'll show up in that feed. And I think
Yeah.
with their follow button, their idea was for the mobile app to have like a feed that you could scroll, like your Steam feed, but it's not quite set up that way yet. So I feel like a lot of people don't use that follow button.
Yeah, they have the activity feed where you can see almost like a social media thing where you see what screenshots and comments people are posting.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in Steam, but honestly, I don't look at any of them. I know if I go to like,
I'm there to launch games. And fucking
Things
get-
exist, but
yeah.
I'll pass.
I'll pass. Nice feed you got. Never gonna visit it.
It's gonna be a no from me, dog.
Okay. Is that all for listener questions?
That's a wrap on listener questions.
Okay, real rapid fire games that you hope are for sale. Remember, the autumn sale starts the day after this episode comes out. So I'm hoping that all Crusader Kings 3 DLC is on sale so I can finish my run with the full content of the game for under $199. Anything lower than that, I'm pretty much happy with, but we'll see.
How much does each one cost? How many are there and how many do they cost?
It's pretty
we don't
egregious,
have
dude.
time to go into it. It's rapid fire. They're lining their pockets.
It's
but
it's pretty bad.
if by bad you mean amazing, bro.
No. I mean, like the amount of DLC.
Yeah. Amelia, what are your hopes on sale?
God of War Ragnarok and Jedi Survivor. Those are. I'm hoping for like a $5 Jedi Survivor. I want to reimagine that whole thing. Nick, I see that yours is Stalker 2. I just saw two. I watched two like over 10-minute reviews on it, and I'm like, this is Nick's game. Like, I really think you would like it.
I'm not really hurting for a game right now, only because like during the holiday season, I'm either doing so much shit or school ramps up because it's like
Nobody
final
wants
season.
to hear about this, dude. None of us
And
have time.
I mean that's the game I wish goes on sale because I don't think. First of all, I don't think it will because it just released, and if it does, it'll be like 5 to 10%, if that. But one game I didn't put on my wish list, I mean on the notes, but one thing that I wish goes on sale is Silent Hill 2. I will play Silent Hill 2 remake if that goes on like 30 to 40% sale.
Nice.
Okay. And the nice thing about Star Wars games is there's always May the 4th. That sale comes around once a year. So there's that extra little opportunity to get a Star Wars game on sale. But a game does have to be out for a while before you can get a decent discount on it. And that's probably not going to happen with the game that I'm hoping is going to be on sale, Loco Motive. This game just came out. I mean, like less than a week ago. And it's this really cool pixel art point and click adventure game. It's a murder mystery on a train in the 1930s.
Ooh.
Exciting stuff. And you play as 3 different characters. It looks super cool, man. And the game is actually, a lot of games are on sale when they first come out. Like initially they're marked down, but very little, usually like 10%, like maximum. And that's the case with this game. I think it's like $16, but there's no way it's going to be on sale for the autumn sale. But I don't know, maybe.
Sweet. That's exciting. I love when you play point and click adventures. I love hearing about it. All right. I think that's an episode. Emilio, do you want to shut it down?
Yeah, speak for Nick, Christian, Bobby. I have a new job. Okay. And myself, 90% off titties, everyone. And we're going to lullaby you off with In the Blood from Hades 2.
Bye.
Are you ready to rock Springfield, Illinois? So good.